What's going on, guys? Welcome to our NFP pre-market analysis. We want to take our time to position ourselves nicely ahead of NFP and also filter out trade opportunities so that we'll be on point before the news release. Okay, so before we jump right into all of the analysis and all of the juicy stuff we have, we want to dwell on DXY for a bit. DXY is going to be very important for our directional move today in the market, as well as we're going to look at one other two pairs that don't have any links to NFP per se or direct correlation with dollar. So, looking at DXY, this is what we have on DXY or the daily chart. So, we're starting off from a daily chart to see what we have, because most times than not, the daily market closure for the previous day usually gives a hint of what to expect the next. And also, we're going to be waiting till the New York session, because that's where most of the action is going to be. London markets might be slow or have no significant volatility, or possibly give us a false move. These are the possible three scenarios. So we want to just hold off on London session and wait for New York. All right. So looking at this now, this is where we have our daily higher time frame key level here. We opened this week on the XY bullish. However, Tuesday, Wednesday was bearish. Then Thursday we had this rejection close. Then today, where we're having NFP, there's where we're still trying to build up today's price action. All right, so we've clearly established where we're currently at. Now, next thing is to look at potential directional move where we could trade towards. So firstly, if we look at this is like our next major level here. This major level will be where price will likely trade towards if we do get a sell-off on dollar. A sell-off on dollar in the sense that dollar loses strength in the markets after this NFP release. Okay, so however, let's just neaten this up. This is where we're looking at now. So however, if we're looking at probabilities, we want to look at both sides or multiple angles. However, if we do get that continuation of a strong momentum, this is where we're going to trade towards. If we get a sell-off or losing momentum, this is where we're going to trade towards. So if you look at this now, it's a kind of dollar is trading between a range, and this is the range. If we want to highlight this much better, now this is like the range, and when we are in between this range currently, this is like the midpoint where price is nested around. So this is where it gets dicey. All right, so if we drop down to our hourly chart now, on the hourly chart, like I said earlier, we are currently trading around the range, which is we are at the midpoint, and at the midpoint we could turn to either direction. So if the NFP release comes out positive for the dollar, like you can see now, we are like pulling back to this level. This will be like where we'll trade towards, and that will be like a major strengthening of the dollar. However, if dollar happens to lose strength, we might just drop off from here aggressively, and that will be dollar losing strength. So my bias on this is to like have an open mind, and the closer we get to the NFP hour, the much better we could see, the sentiment around the market. Because when it comes to NFP, there is a combination of different factors, from your technical to your fundamental and the sentiment as well. These are all the major things that comes in place within this NFP. It's no longer going to be your holistic price action or just holistic fundamental. So away from this, let's take a look at where we're going to see potential opportunity because of our speculations around this. So the first place to look at is Euro USD. This is my watch list, and this is my watch list, and we're going to quickly run through all of it. So Euro USD, that's the first on the menu with regards to what we're looking at on the XY. So looking at that price action for the previous day, like I mentioned earlier, you can see this was the rejection from the highs on Euro USD. For DXY, it was the rejection from the bottom. So And if we mark this out, you can see that if we're getting a sell-off, this would be our structural low. This is our midpoint where we get this rejection from the structural high. And if we want to look closely above, we could be potentially trading towards here as well. So, however, let's drop down to the hourly chart for much clarity. So on the hourly chart, if we look at this now, this is a little bit dicey. Why? Because of same thing we saw on DXY. So we are currently nested around here. This could be a potential pullback to this level for us to drop off. And if we do get that sell, this will be our first profit taking target. So today is NFP, and on an average, Euro USD can comfortably give us around 40 to 70 pips on an average. So today's NFP, we're going to have some abnormal in the market, faster volatility, and also we might get huger pip count than the usual, or we can still get the usual pip count, but we can get it at a pace that's unusual. All right, so that's for the sell-off. So if we do get the sell-off, we'll be looking at a strong rejection from this level, from this high here, for us to sell off all the way down. So, but if this sell off doesn't hold, if we do get a buy, we'll be looking at this highs above us here. So let's look at the 1 hour and throw more light on the sell side before we look on the buy side. So on the sell side, like you can see now, as you can see now on this particular build up, we've dropped, we retraced here, we dropped. So we want to look at how we probably retrace back to this level. If we get a rejection from here, we might sell off to the downside. But if we don't, probably just be on the sidelines and allow price to show us its hand. For me personally, I do believe we'll get loads and loads of trade opportunity at the back end of NFP. That will be the following week. After NFP, the market usually unlocks lots of trade opportunities. So if we don't get anything today, you don't need to be, FOMOing or like fearing to miss out on all of that. Next week we'll have lots of trade that could, come by. And if the buys do happen, like I said earlier, this is where we'll be looking at this major level here around the size for the buy side. So for me now, I'm having an open mind. If you've noticed the summary for me, I'm having an open mind. I'm not giving this conclusion that, oh, we're going to sell or we're going to buy. I'm still having an open mind. So away from this dollar and euro pair, so let's take a look at US 30. Now US 30 is looking bearish, and I want to see if we can still short US 30. All right, so if you look at this, the previous candle close for yesterday on US 30 is quite bearish, and we could potentially, sell off to this level here or still short again. Why? Because if you look at this, the buy side momentum has been, slowly losing its strength. And if you look at before we got to this region here where we have a choppy buy side, we've been having like a consistent strength, like buying consistently here, and you can see the build up here versus what we're having here is different. On this side, we have a much stable and strong buy side. On this level, we're having a contention between buy and sell, and finally the sell, kicked in. So we want to see if we can still sell further. So away from that, if we drop down to the daily charts, on the daily we'll get to see this strong sell-off from yesterday's price action, and by the time we drop down to the hourly charts, you can see that currently we are somewhat pulling back. We're pulling back, and which is totally fine, it's totally normal. So we want to see if we pull back to this region and we'll start getting that sales again. So if I zoom out a little bit, now you can see that the pullback we're looking at, we want to see if we get a pullback to this major level to get enough momentum and sell off. That's for US 30. And the last on my list is CAD Swiss. So CAD Swiss is also one of those pairs that's looking very good to trade today. And if we look at this from a daily chart, on the daily charts we're having this guy rejecting up from this level, and we are still looking at potential sell all the way to this place. So we are still relatively, um, will I say, around a good time frame to this sell. Yeah, let me use that word. So if we look at the 4 hour chart now, on the 4 hour chart, we'll see that price has been losing momentum so far since it got to this level, and it has been like a back and forth between if we're going to have a buy or if we're going to have a sell. You can see how we've been like correctively moving, and finally we've had this strong drop in price to wipe out all of this. So we could potentially hit this low here. So what are we looking at? So on the 4 hour, if you look at this closely, there's a high chance we could trickle and retrace all the way back into this level. And if we do get to this level, we want to wait for confirmations before we start jumping on that sell. So to sum this up, we'll be waiting for price to retrace to that level and see if we'll get a sell, and this will be like our target below here. So NFP, we have Euro USD, US30, and CAD Swiss, and that'll be all for now, guys. Do well to like the content. If you find this helpful, also share with your friends, drop a comment, and pray for a profitable NFP day. That will be all for today. Cheers. Peace out.